What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Gouache Universe podcast. I'm your host, Gouache. I'm that comic book artist that discusses comics, science fiction, and pop culture news, all while changing the universe, one subject at a time. I got my special guest here, Teddy. We're going to chop it up on X-Men 97, Episode 7, Bright Eyes. How you doing, Teddy?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Good, good. I see you rocking that Xmas shirt. Is that lift up a little bit? Is that with the X-Men? Oh,
Nah, it's actually Ric
oh,
Flair. But
okay.
it had to exit it. You know what I mean? It had the color scheme. I was like, that's the style of X-Men, right? So
Right.
gotta give it a last woo for that episode, man.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it, man. Episode 7, Bright Eyes. So what was your overall opinion of the episode? What did you think?
I thought the episode was great as the pacing, overall just structure of the episode, what the kind of the mystery of who's behind certain events is kind of coming full circle and things are being revealed slowly. Tension is being built obviously as well, and yeah, you're seeing a lot of different things that we didn't expect as
Mm,
you past episodes. So I'm super happy. I'm wanting more, man. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, well, it looks like we're going to get more too. I just well, we've been we talked about this that they've already greenlit I think 2 more seasons, and they're trying to have it continue. So keep your fingers crossed that we get a season 4, 5, and 6. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. But overall, I look going into this episode, I knew that they were gonna jump back into the main plot of the fallout of everything that happened on Genosha. Of course, we had that episode last week where they went off world and dealt with Xavier, and also dealt with the hero's journey of Storm and everything. So I kind of knew going in that they would kind of get back into the main, storyline of everything, and kind of get into the meat and bones of, what happened, with the fallout and everything. And sure enough, they certainly opened with that tearjerker at the beginning with the funeral. I'm like, man, no music, just rain and sadness and darkness too. I was like, man, they pointing it on thick. So I was I don't know, I felt some kind of way. Oh, first of all, overall, I thought the episode was solid. I thought it was great. Um, like I said, they're ramping up, to that big season finale. But yeah, just this opening, man. I don't know about you, but I don't think Gambit's coming back, man. I don't think he's coming back. I was kind of at first I was like, yeah, this is the X-Men, time travel. We got Bishop in there, we got Cable. Of course he's coming back. But I don't know, man. What do you think? You think this is it for Gambit, or you think they're gonna draw this out for like a whole, like the end of the season, maybe another season? I don't know. What do you think?
My hopes is that they obviously bring him back because I mean it's Gambit, man. Like he's the man, right? He's part of the team. He's one of the OGs. But at the same time, like you kind of have to close a chapter for a period of time. If they do eventually bring him back somehow, one way or another through time travel or whatever. But they fooled us in that initial trailer teaser for the X-Men 97. Remember where it was like Professor X that was in that funeral? But
Right.
it was the Gambit. So I was
Right.
like, okay, I see what you did there.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, no, it was a beautiful scene with like Nightcrawler having those like nice, beautiful words. It's just you couldn't put it any more eloquently. And then you have like Jubilee,
Tearing
tearing,
up. Yeah.
a little mad that Rogue's not there, and then just everybody's down and out, and there's a lot of questions about the situation and stuff, where to go
Yeah.
from. Yeah, man. It was a
Yeah.
good. Nope.
I I think that I'm really glad that Nightcrawler is on the team. I don't know if you saw my reaction, but I was saying that Nightcrawler is definitely needed on the team, especially like at a time like this when things look really dark and everything, because just his presence and just his outlook on life and his faith and everything is what the team desperately needs to kind of get them through this particular tragedy that they're going through right now. And it can be no more evident than what we saw in this particular episode. Him being there to give the you call it a eulogy, right? Yeah, the eulogy of Gambit and everything. Um, that was right on point. And I even quote, he said something to the fact that every gambler has a tail, and
Mm.
but modesty was Gambit's. And I was like, oh man,
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
that was just one of many gems that he dropped during the episode. But yeah, he was there at the beginning at the funeral, and then my favorite scene, I guess we'll get to that, but my favorite scene is his interaction with Rogue, um, and kind of bringing her back to, you know, as much as he could be, bringing her back to I hate to say reality, but just kind of coaching her back into mental health because she's kind of mentally unstable right now with the loss of Gambit and everything. But yeah, I just wanted to say, man, Nightcrawler is definitely he is definitely a value to the team, not just because of his mutant power set, but also because of just what he brings, spiritually, mentally, and intellectually to the team. He's definitely more, putting in more than his weight on the team. So how did you feel about just Nightcrawler's presence and just his presence, as a beacon of hope for the team, before they.
Oh, 100%. No, I agree. Everything you just said, and you just stole my words. Literally, I was about to say beacon of hope, but like, and also a beacon of faith, like just in the light of darkness, just knowing what to say, giving people kind of a sense of calm, and clarity, in the chaos. And, going to like what you said about Rogue, that was definitely a big moment and, the voice of reason. And then being able to kind of clear the fogginess and the darkness, and having those words of wisdom is very important on the team. And, in a way, everybody has something they're dealing with and has some kind of attribute to bring to the team. And he
Yeah.
definitely has that. And it's a big skill to have. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we got to talk about see where they went from there. They went into, of course, Jubilee was crying. It's like, where's Rogue? He saved everybody and this, that, and the other. And Nightcrawler was like, well, she may be something to the fact that, well, young Jubilee is not wrong to worry about Rogue. And then they cut to Rogue, and she's just tearing up shop. What do they call it? Rogue's rage, or
yeah.
uh, going rogue. I guess that's the term that's been making its way around the internet. She's going rogue, literally going rogue. And she was just pouncing through, General Ross's team and everything. Because she's looking for Gyrick and Trask and everything. And man, I just thought it was cool that you know, well, first of all, we got a cameo from General Ross. That's from the Hulk universe. But I just thought it was cool when he said that, yeah, this base is made to withstand the Hulk. And of course, here you got Rogue. She took it out just like that. And of course, I don't know if you caught it, but that's been kind of a meme that's been going around the internet. But for all you Marvel vs. Capcom fans out there, when she did the roll in the air and she came down, I was like, oh, wait a minute. If you saw
Hey.
my reaction, I was like, wait, did she do that? I think she did. I was just playing this a couple of weeks ago.
No, that's perfect, man. That's perfect timing. Like that's what's well thought about the show. It's like they just bring in different gems of different parts of like the universe, from games to
Mhm.
previous episodes and stories and comics. I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they did that. I was like, wait a minute, are they that detailed in this show? I mean, they really pulling back. I mean, the next thing I thought she was going to say was, "I did it," because that's the little catchphrase from the game or whatever. I thought she was going to be like, what's the other one? Good night. When after she kisses them and drains their power, she's always like, "Good night, sugar," or whatever. I thought they was gonna go further with it. I was like, especially when she drained uh Gyrick's powers and well, not his powers, but he drained his memories. I thought she was gonna say good night, sugar, whatever. I was like, man, just take it all the way to the hill. But anyway, so I thought that was cool. Of course, then we go to Cyclops talking to Senator Kelly, and just like a politician, because even though he was saved and he was supposed to be an ally to the mutants and everything, at the end of the day, he's still a politician. And I thought that was reflected in their conversation because literally he's just worried about his voters and the polls and things like that, while here you have the mutants and the X-Men, they're dealing with real life tragedy. They're dealing with loss of life. And it's more than just, numbers on a poll chart or whatever. So I thought that was effectively, handled in that particular conversation. Um yeah,
Oh,
what What did you think about that? What did you think about,
Yeah, right before that transition too, I forgot there was a cameo of like Gambit's old crew from Louisiana, if
oh
you
yeah, yeah,
showed up and showed paid tribute to him as well. So it's cool to have that throwback as well in there, seeing those characters as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait, wait, who was now that you mention it, who was the one? I know I saw Belladonna and I saw his brother Byron.
I'm so
But
bad with names. I know what they look like. I just forgot their names.
oh, okay, okay. But do you know who, or have you seen, or have any inkling of who was the woman with the black hair and
No,
the hood? She was like standing between
yeah, I saw the
brother.
black hair. I don't remember. I kind of don't remember her. I remember the other ones, the other folks.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It almost went past me. I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's Byron. And I know that's Belladonna. You can't miss that
Uh,
mullet anywhere because I think she still had the mullet the
uh,
mullet in that clip or whatever. But yeah,
yeah,
that was cool. So
yeah, and then going to what you were saying about like politics side, there was a moment where Scott and Gene, had that moment after talking to Senator Kenny, looking out into kind of like the aftermath of Genosha and having a reference of Professor Xavier's kind of like wisdom a little bit there.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, going into there, I think it went direct, I think, to Genosha and like the aftermath and seeing like all the injured and the dead and um the not holding back pretty much, just seeing it. You see the toll, the dead bodies and
I
the
know.
in I don't think we never really saw that in the 90s. I feel like there were some things kind of held back a little bit, but
Yeah.
like they're going pretty ham here. So
Oh yeah,
I thought that
this ain't network television. This is cable, so they can get away with a whole lot of stuff that they couldn't get away with on TV. But yeah,
right. Yeah, no, I thought it was I'm glad that they're doing that and it's definitely for folks to kind of just look at even war in general like and see what can happen, you see the casualties, you see when the dust settles how destruction can affect a lot of people's lives and stuff. So
right, right. You know what I
again,
wanted to mention though? I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to mention just to piggyback on what you were saying about how you brought up with Gene and Cyclops talking about, the aftermath and everything. One thing I noticed that I don't know if you caught it, but Jean, she referred to Madeline as a sister. And because she was saying that after Storm left, Madeline was like the closest thing that she had to a sister. So that leads me to believe how long has it been for them to actually form that relationship, of sisterhood, and what kind of conversations that they have. Obviously, we had the mind uh incident that happened in episode 5 where I wouldn't say it's an affair, just just talking to her, whatever. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting that Jean referred to Madeline as somewhat of a sister.
mm,
And I was like, oh, okay, you on that level. So okay, okay.
yeah, no, maybe it shows a little bit of some growth maybe potentially happening of her accepting her at some point,
Yeah.
that shadowing, who knows.
I don't know. I'm thinking, I don't know. You think Madeline is, because remember, she still has that Mr. Sinister, I guess what bug inside of her? It's inside of her. So I'm thinking that maybe I don't think this is the end of her, even though it makes it seem like she's dead. But I think that maybe she's going to come back, but she's going to come back as a full villain. And maybe this somehow activates her Goblin Queen side permanently. You know what I mean? Kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing. And I think now that her Madeline personality is dead, I think that the Goblin Queen personality might, I don't know, that's just a speculation, like moving forward.
Possible. It's a lot of things could happen. Like you're on to something. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I don't know, but we'll see. But
Yeah.
let me see what else. Of course, we talked about the aftermath. They were, dropping gems. They dropped some gems from Martin Luther King. If you saw my reaction, I was like, okay, X-Men 97, dropping Dr. King lines, and they even went as far as what's the dude from with all the jackets? Um man, I know the fans out there, they're gonna be upset. What's the guy that always puts on the coats and everything? Mr. Rogers, yeah.
Oh, Mr. Rogers. Oh, yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
He dropped the gem.
Who's the one who referenced it? I think it was Beast,
It was
right?
Beast. No, was it Beast or was it Beast or Morph?
I think
Yeah, it was
maybe,
Beast.
or
It was
it's.
Beast.
I'm pretty sure it was Beast though. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was Beast. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a quick one too, and it went over my head. I was like, oh, I forgot about that.
I know that went over my head too. I was like, oh wow, oh okay. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. Um, of course, we got the classic well, I won't say classic, but in the comics they have something called the Unity Squad, in which Rogue and Captain America, they form a team of part Avengers, part mutants to form kind of an alliance, I guess so to speak, with the government or whatever. But it's kind of like that's why they call it the Unity Squad. And but there's always been some kind of beef with Rogue and Captain America, even in the comics. So I thought, when the Shield came out, I was like, first of all, I was shocked, that it was Captain America. And but then she kicked the shield and kicked it in her hand. I was like, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Like, get that shield up out of here, man. Don't be blocking my path or whatever. I thought that was so cool or whatever. Then she held on to the shield and she didn't drop the shield. She kept the shield. She was walking with it. I was like, oh, okay, okay, Ro. So what did you think about that whole Captain America interaction and the surprise?
So I had somebody ruin it for me already, gave me a freaking spoiler alert, man. Like in a group chat, they just said, yeah, Cap, like somebody was talking and then they dropped that without me responding, going, yeah, I didn't see the episode yet. And so that got revealed to me ahead of time. So I kind of know that was gonna he was gonna show up at some point in the episode.
Oh,
I was still hyped, regardless, seeing Cap America on screen crossing over into the X-Men universe. I mean, we
mm,
did see him before, back in the 90s in the
right.
Spider-Man animated series crossing over as well with everybody together. But it was still cool to see, and the interaction Rogue was having. She was in Rogue rage mode. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm not following by the book. I know where's Gyrick at. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be coming after him and trying to take him in rather than follow the policies and all that. So she wasn't having it, and her holding on that shield, like you said, man. She was it showed like that sass from her,
Yeah.
and then the fact that she just said, "All right, well here you go."
I know.
Fine,
I
deuce.
thought she was gonna keep it though. I thought she was gonna, well, you won't be needing this, and then just fly off with it. But nah, she threw that thing into the mountains. I was like, dang, okay, Rogue. But anyway, so that was cool. I didn't like the voice though. I didn't like the voice actor. I know that's kind of nitpicking, but I didn't like the voice actor who did Captain America. For some reason, I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. Maybe they should have used the same voice as
Chris
they
Evans.
did with Earth Mightiest Heroes. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But
Yeah.
in fact, was that him from Earth Mightiest Heroes? I don't know because they crossing over a lot of these voice actors and everything.
Not
But
sure.
yeah, I look at like some of these details and but anyway, so moving along, we got to Rogue ended up with meeting Gyrick and she drained his life force to find out, the information that she needed or whatever. And then she woke up. And like I said, my favorite scene of the entire episode was the interaction between her and Nightcrawler. And
Mm.
when she finally let loose and let out all that she's been feeling and the pain and losing Gambit and Magneto, and she let it all out. And who better to let it out to than Nightcrawler? And it just shows the level of, I guess, family and growth that these two characters share because we got the reveal that they were sisters in the original show.
Mm.
And I just think I'm glad that they are doubling down on the fact that he is her sister and the fact that she felt comfortable enough to just release. I mean, that cry that she cried into his arms and she wasn't afraid to just let loose because she recognizes that is her brother and that he loves her. And I just thought that was just so special, and I really like the fact that it just shows growth with her too because we always know Rogue as being like this really tough character. She's really tough and sassy and strong and whatever, but just to see that vulnerable side to her character, I thought was needed, and for her to just let it all out with Nightcrawler and everything, and then to turn around and to realize the rest of her family was there. That scene with all the other X-Men standing there, man, that got me right here. So I don't know. What about you? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, no, 100% same thing. I felt everything there. Like It was everything you could tell she had pent up. She needed to release it. We never got to see her mourning at all. It was immediately, obviously, the ending of the episode 5, her crying right there and then, but we never got to see that period, kind of like what Storm was dealing with a little bit with her losing her powers and seeing that process of realizing what's going on, how to go about it and figure out, what's the next step after this. So we
Hmm.
didn't see that. It was more just she's seeing red right now. She's going right to action
Yeah.
without really thinking, being strong headed there, and stubborn. And now she's able to kind of slow down and you know get the people that she cares about, people that care about her,
Hmm.
and it's okay to let go and for her to cry and do everything that she needs to do to let out all the pain that she has. And yeah, it was a bit very a beautiful
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, that was great. Just to see her family came to, even though they were on their way to look for trash, the fact that they came there and it's like that's a family. They look out for each other and they pick each other up when they fall and everything. So I just thought that scene was just right on time, and it further laments what I was saying the other week about how I think the Avengers is more like a team,
Mm.
like a sports team, but the X-Men are more like a family. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They more like a what do you call it? What do you call it when you not unwanted family, but uh, uh, a needed family? It's a term for it. I can't think of it right now. I know I'll think of it. I'll probably put the little text um in the
Would you
bottom once
consider,
I.
would you consider the Avengers like independent contractors?
Yeah. That's not the word I was looking for, but yeah, that's a good analogy though. Yeah, independent contractors. They're not really, they're not family. They just like you said, independent contractors, workers, teammates, or whatever. But the
Right.
X-Men are like family.
Like Fast and Furious family, like Don
Yeah,
Toretto,
yeah.
the family. Yeah, that deep, man. They
Yeah,
don't.
they're that kind of family. But anyway, so Rogue came back for a minute, but then the X-Men they teamed up and they went to look for Trask all together. And they ran into Trask, and Trask was in a bad place because he felt guilty. Even he felt guilty about what happened in Genosha, and he was about to commit suicide. And I just thought that scene where he was about to jump, and just before he jumped, Rogue grabbed him, and you thinking that okay, there she's gonna talk him down or whatever, and just talk to him some more, but he was like, I can't help you anymore, and then she was just like, same sugar, and she dropped him. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that. I that totally took me by surprise. What did you think about that? Were you shocked? Were you okay with it, or what did you think?
They should have inserted, that cold-blooded meme with like right there. I was like, yeah, dang Rogue, you're that far gone now. Like, you're not the Rogue that we know. Like, uh,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like it's almost kind of like a human thing, when you lose a loved one. Like,
Hmm.
you lose a loved one and somebody murders that person, right?
Right.
The instincts is like you want to go after that person. It's kind of just like revenge in a way. So she
Right.
kind of, I think, got clouded in that moment, and it got the best of her in that situation. But yeah, I definitely, my jaw dropped like in the slow mo of her drop, because like you see all the other X-Men, they're like farther away a little bit, right? So I'm trying to think of anybody that can catch up except for Nightcrawler that could
Oh, yeah.
to get to him before he falls, but
Hmm.
we didn't really get to see him fall. And it's like everybody was more in shock. So it seemed like, oh, he's dead. Like she dropped him for real.
Hmm.
Dang, where this episode's going right now? Like
Yeah.
it's dark as heck, like, but then that
Yep.
that whole reveal happened, and we were like, it's like Blast came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, first of all, let's back up for a minute.
Okay.
Are you familiar with OZT? Do you know what that means?
Let me see.
Yeah. Remember? Okay, I won't spoil it because they haven't revealed it in the show, so I won't spoil it. But in the comics, it means something that I didn't catch it at first when they mentioned it, because OZT was on all the uniforms of the guards and everything, and everybody had the OZT on the little hybrid sentinels that was in the showcases and everything. So I won't give it away. But
Okay.
yeah, that's a storyline. But anyway, yeah, that took me by surprise. But you know what I was thinking? I was like, those using those faces that Martin uses in the Martin TV show.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, Nightcrawler could have tapped down there and he could have poured it down there and caught him or whatever. Morph all those powers that he has, he could have morphed into somebody real quick and caught him. But anyway, it is what it is. So but um, but yeah. So that was cool. And then they had this big fight, of course, as you can see in this beautiful spread here. You had the team, and they went hard against this hybrid Sentinel Trask that was awakened. And man, did they go hard. So the X-Men are fighting him or whatever, and he was just too powerful or whatever. And then you have the reveal of a main man Cable. And I gotta say, first of all, I know I might be nitpicking or whatever, but how I don't know if you noticed this, but they used the Cable theme from the original animated series.
Oh,
And that kind of took me aback because I was like, wait a minute. I knew it was Cable, but then they started using the Cable theme because every X-Men character had a theme in the original show. But for some reason they opted out of doing that in this show.
hmm.
So which is kind of annoying to me. But anyway, it is what it is. I mean, I enjoy the show and I'm trying not to nitpick, but then they use the Cable theme. So I'm like, oi, well, if you're using the Cable theme here, why not use all the other X-Men themes? Why not use Storm's theme? Why not use Rogue's theme? All these themes that the X-Men had in the original show, but they use Cable's theme. So I'm like, oh, because I thought it was a reason why they weren't using it. Maybe they couldn't get the rights to the music that they had in the original show, but there it was. So I'm like, oh. Anyway, that kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I'm trying to nitpick because the show was so good. But anyway, so what did you think about the Cable reveal?
Yeah, no, I mean, to what you were just saying, like I'm 100% agreeing with you. Like I enjoy all those little mini themes for everybody. I'm sure they'll eventually show up somehow, especially if fans complain a little bit, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, seeing Cable show up, when Cable shows up, things are going haywire, or something big's about to happen, uh,
hmm
or something, something related is transpiring to the future of some kind.
yeah,
So showing up, I'm a big fan of Cable as well. So like he's like one of my favorite characters aside from like Bishop and a couple other folks. But yeah,
mhm,
and then him kind of having that Jean Grey kind of psychic moment as well was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
He was cold too. Now that's cold blooded. Cold blooded. He was like, "You're
but
not my mom."
yeah,
I was
you're
like, "Okay, okay, Cable." He's like, "We can reunion later, Dad." I'm like, "Damn, what's your beef with Scott with Cyclops?" So anyway, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
not playing around. He was going in for a mission and he used that EMP to take out Trask at that point, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was,
yeah,
everybody got murked. They couldn't stop that that modified version of Trask. And it was cool to kind of see Cable, save the day momentarily for that. So I'm
yeah,
curious to see what they do now with Trask kind of being immobilized, with his body.
yeah, yeah. Well, the next three episodes they say is going to be fire. You thought episode 5 was fire, and you think this last episode was great. The next three episodes is going to be, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be on a whole nother level.
Mm.
Um, but anyway, we ran out of time, but I did want to briefly mention, okay, we got the reveal of Bastion, and that totally surprised me when I saw him in this episode, and especially the death of Gyrick and everything. And I was like, wow, this is definitely not network television because we actually saw him kill him on camera. I mean, he was like, he did it meticulous too. He put his hands over his mouth, and I was like, oh my goodness. The glasses, he put the glasses on just so he can take them off and kill. I was like, wow, they going in. But
Yeah.
so we get to reveal that Bastion is the mastermind behind this whole thing because we originally thought it was Sinister, and that Magneto was alive. So how did you feel about all of that and the reveal of Magneto being alive and he's going to be in a bad place after this. I think he's going to revert back to his old ways. So what did you think?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a cool reveal. I mean, he made a reference to Sinister being like, you couldn't stop them from 92 and on.
Right,
Shit,
right,
that was a cool reference right there. But
right,
man,
right.
I could feel the aura coming from him, and it's gonna be some crazy stuff to come. So,
Mm.
being captured and him playing around with him, just shaving and stuff, man. I can't wait, man. Like you said, it's gonna be some crazy episodes coming up. But yeah, that's my take.
I'm trying to figure out how did he catch him though? I mean, if Magneto was captured, does that mean that Leech survived? Because remember, Leech was like right there next to him. Does that mean Leech and some of the other Morlocks survived? Or
I would assume.
I know Callisto passed away, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. They'll show it, I'm sure, somehow. But Bastion is just OP like that, man. He could just do whatever, in the moment and get away with it. Well, I'm
Yeah,
sure we'll see more of his power set and all that. So it's gonna be
yeah.
craziness to come.
Well, you know what I say? I say, help us, Bishop. You're our only hope. We need you, Bishop, wherever you are. I mean,
With my costume.
hey, but you know what? I know we're running out of time, but I want to quickly mention that the writers have a plot hole that they're going to have to write themselves out of. And when I say that, in the original show, Bishop and Cable didn't know each other. Because remember when they had that episode Time Fugitives, it was like they first met for the first time. And in this show, Bishop is the one that took Cable into the future. So why didn't Cable know him in the original show? So that's kind of like a big plot hole that they wrote themselves into with this show. So it's like I'm all confident that they're going to write themselves out of it, but I don't know. I just thought that was something that's kind of odd. I mean, because I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But anyway, we run out of time. I hate these when we run out of time like this. But briefly, what did you think about that? Is that something that you concerned about? Did you catch that or?
I didn't really catch it, but I'm very curious now. I kind of want to look back at and see how that was.
Yeah, because they didn't know each other in the original show, but he took him into the future here. I mean, I know that was then and this is now, but the writers wrote that, so it's kind of like, okay, guys, you're gonna have to write your way out of this. I mean, you wrote this big plot hole, so
He's a psychic to make the memory, man. Just follow, just keep watching, man.
all right, man. Hey, look, man, this was a solid episode. Like I said, the next episode is gonna be crazy. So it's a pleasure having you on board for this journey. And man, strap in because these next three episodes is gonna be on a whole nother level. So yeah, man, tell everybody where we can find you. It's good having you on the show. Where people can find you on the internet and what you got going next.
Oh yeah, pleasure to have me as always. I'm not that cool. I'm on Instagram, just tbiz158. But you'll catch me on here again, hyping and nerding out. So thanks again for having me.
Ah, man, you cool. Look, I'm trying to be like you, man. I'm trying to get my cool up by getting some of your cool on this podcast, but anyway,
You're cool,
uh
man. You're cool.
yeah, so you can find me on all the interwebs just at Gwash Universe. And until next time, I'll see you in the universe.